Production. Let's get it.
Hello, it's me, Dr. Butler, and welcome back to my podcast where I talk about all things women's health, strength, and thriving through every season of life. Today, we're diving into a topic that so many women experience, but a few truly understand: the stages of menopause. And let me tell you, menopause is not a single moment. It's a transition, a journey, and for many of us, a wake-up call to reconnect with our bodies in a deeper, more compassionate way. I've studied these stages for years, but living through them has given me a whole new perspective. So in this episode, I want to blend science with real life experience. My goal is simple: to help you understand what's happening to your body, recognize the stage you may be in, and feel empowered, not confused or alone. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and let's walk through the stages of menopause together. Now, the term menopause seems to be a catch-all phrase, but in actuality, it has three distinct phases, which I refer to as the menopausal stages. There are perimenopause, actual menopause, and then post-menopause. The first phase is perimenopause, also known as the menopause transition. What is so unique about perimenopause is there are no scientific markers to determine when you're actually in perimenopause. For menopause, it's 12 consecutive months without a menstrual cycle. Post-menopause literally means the day after you hit menopause. But with perimenopause, we have to use boundaries because even labs can be misleading. During perimenopause, our hormones are fluctuating up and down. Therefore, labs are hard to determine this stage. When you go to take your labs, it may be normal, but then the next minute, the hormones may decrease. The fluctuation isn't gradual transition. It can be abrupt and all over the place. This is the culprit of many of our unpleasant symptoms, such as hot flashes, night sweats, sleep disturbances, joint and muscle pain, weight gain, thinning hair, dry and itchy skin, mood swings, anxiety, irritability, brain fog, vaginal dryness, decreased libido, urinary urgency or frequency, elevated blood pressure, increased cholesterol, and there are so many more. All of these things are caused by low levels of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. See, estrogen does a lot more than we realize. Its main job is to help build the uterine lining, but it also plays a huge role in mood, brain function, and how we regulate body temperature. Estrogen helps protect our bones, support muscle maintenance, and keeps our cardiovascular system functioning at its best. Then once it starts to decline, it changes how our body stores fat, especially around the midsection. That's why so many women notice this new menopause belly. And there is a shift in insulin sensitivity that makes metabolism feel different. But it's not just about body composition. Lower estrogen also affects our reproductive and sexual health, showing up as vaginal dryness, discomfort during intercourse, and decreased libido. Now, progesterone is our calming, stabilizing hormone that helps us sleep. It supports mood balance and keeps our cycle running smoothly. When progesterone starts to decline, we notice we have more anxiety, irritability, lighter or irregular periods, and trouble sleeping. That drop can also make us more sensitive to stress and contribute to symptoms such as breast tenderness, headaches, and overall feeling on edge. Many people are shocked that women have testosterone, but we do. And it plays a major role in libido, muscle mass, energy, motivation, and mood. Testosterone levels gradually decline with age, and the drop becomes more noticeable during the menopausal stages. Lower testosterone contributes to decreased sexual desire, reduced muscle strength, lower energy, and decreased motivation. Even though testosterone is often discussed in the context of men's health, it is essential for women's well-being too. Okay, so now that we have identified the three phases of the menopausal stages and the three main hormones that are affected, let's get into what to expect during these phases. Perimenopause normally shows up in our 40s, but it can start as early as mid 30s or as late as early 50s. Every woman's timeline is different, and that is completely natural. The symptoms can last several years. Around 80% of women will get a combination of symptoms. And for 25% of these women, the symptoms will be so severe it's going to impact daily life. It's one of the most confusing stages because it doesn't follow a straight line. It begins with the first notable change in your regular menstrual cycle, and it ends only after you have gone 12 consecutive months without a period. And yes, if you go 11 months without a cycle and you bleed, the clock resets. I've seen this happen to many, many women, and it can be incredibly frustrating. Now, once we have gone 12 consecutive months without a menstrual cycle, we enter menopause. During this phase, our ovaries have stopped releasing eggs and we can no longer get pregnant. And honestly, that's all menopause is. It is a time marker when you have not had a menstrual cycle for a year. The next day, we're in post-menopause. And this will be the phase we will be in for the rest of our lives. I find that when I talk to more seasoned women, they believe once they have gone through menopause, they're done. This information doesn't apply, but that is not the truth. There is a plethora of physiological changes during the post-menopause stage. See, our bodies are now adjusting to our new hormone balance baseline. And with that comes new experiences. We have the hot flashes and the night sweats may slowly start to disappear. However, our new concern during postmenopause is accelerated loss of bone density, leading to an increased risk of osteoporosis. When estrogen declines or ceases to be produced, the cells that build and break down our bones, we lose their primary regulator. The drop also reduces how well we absorb calcium. Over time, bones become less dense and more fragile. We also see changes in cardiovascular health because estrogen helps keep our blood vessels flexible and supports healthy cholesterol levels. During postmenopause, cholesterol levels can shift, arteries can stiffen, and blood pressure may rise as inflammation increases. And when you combine high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, more abdominal fat, and changes in cholesterol, you get a cluster of risk known as metabolic syndrome, a major driver of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes for women in midlife. This is when strength training is especially important. Strength training becomes non negotiable during the menopausal stages because it directly counters the physiological changes driven by declining estrogen levels. As estrogen drops, we naturally lose muscle, bone density, and metabolic efficiency. Strength training steps in as the most effective tool we have to slow, stop, or even reverse these changes. During perimenopause, strength training helps stabilize blood sugar, supports mood, reduce joint pain, and maintain lean muscle, making the body more resilient as hormones fluctuate. In postmenopause, it becomes even more critical. With estrogen at its lowest, the body loses its natural protection of bones, muscle, and cardiovascular system. Strength training helps preserve and rebuild muscle, which boosts metabolism, protect bone density, reducing fracture risk, improve insulin sensitivity, lowering the risk of metabolic syndrome, support heart health by improving blood pressure and cholesterol levels, enhance balance and stability to reduce the risk of falling, increase overall strength and confidence in daily movement. This is the stage where women often feel like their body is working against them. But strength training is the one modality that gives us back our power. It's not about lifting heavy for aesthetics, it's about longevity. vitality, and staying strong enough to live the life on our own terms. As an exercise scientist, my goal is to help by offering strength and functional training to preserve bone density and lean mass, supporting cardiovascular conditioning to support heart health, and provide mobility and balance work to reduce the risk of falling, and lastly, assist with nutrition strategies tailored to hormonal shifts and metabolic changes. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe, like, and share this video. Also, be sure to grab a copy of my menopausal symptom checklist shown in this video, or stop by my gym to pick up your own. And I will see you next week.